Hi, I'm Scotty. Welcome to my channel, Scotty's Clock World. Thanks for dropping by. Well, that was fun. That wheel's in there now. You can see it turning around and everything else is in place and they're all turning very smoothly. But naturally, when I put the star wheel in, everything else is going to drop out of place, so we'll have another chance of putting them all back in again. Okay, star wheel. Actually, I might put it into the top. There's a spring down there that's a bit of a problem. All right, open the plates up and move the star wheel into position. That is a long way from where it belongs. It's caught on there, so I've opened the plate up a bit more. It's not playing very nicely actually. It's got to go down into there. We're almost there, but not quite. I don't think that plate. Alright, that's the bottom pivot. Now move the top one across a little bit. Make sure that that one's in place, which it isn't because it's just dropped out. Star wheel. I better put the gathering pallet in. We don't want to break that pivot off. Now get that one in and we'll put that one there. That's got all of those there, and we've had something move out. And I have a feeling it's a minute arbor. Seems to still be in there. There we go. And it's just fallen out again, but other than that, it was looking very good. Put that in again. Really need a little bit more light on the subject. It's pretty dark down there. That's all right. Gathering pallet back in. And then the escape wheel has moved out a tiny bit. If you find this video helpful, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. I said it was going to be fun and you can see that it is. All right. Strike size working all right so far. I'll check the going side. I think we've got a pivot out of alignment there somewhere because that's not turning freely. Escape wheel back in again. All right, let's see what we got. Nope, third wheel's dropped out now. Everything is just about where it's meant to be, but not quite. Is that goes down there a tiny bit. It's about 1.5 mil out. That's tight. It's too tight. Right, I'll have a look at that off camera and work out why that is so tight. Pivots are in their correct bushes and things turn round, but it's got very tight. It's not spinning. All right, I'll have a look at that and I'll come back. Well, I've put the other parts into the movement now. It was a lot easier doing it off camera. Well, it was relatively easier doing it off camera. They're in now, and I'll spin the trains round. That's the time train and the strike train. You'll see the fly spinning around there. Alright, so they've been done. We'll put the rack and snail on in a moment, but first up we want to put the pallets and the pendulum leader on. Now to do that we have to replace that with that, being a brand new suspension spring, and that's what's left of the old one. Put that aside for the moment, that's one out of stock. I'll have to adjust the length of the pendulum when we get to that part, because not having a complete old suspension spring, we don't know how long it was. So the new one I would think would be a little bit longer, but we'll find that out soon. The back cock obviously goes on there. What we've got to do now, before we can put the back cock on, we have to make a tapered pin which goes through the back cock there, like so, and that is what supports the suspension spring which slides in there. Alright, so that's what we're going to do now. So first thing we do, I've already selected the raw tapered pin that we're going to use. So the first thing we do, push it into the hole, get it aligned up, see how far we want it to go through, and then make a mark on either side for the maximum amount of pin that we want. And there's our marks there, one there and one there. So we'll take the tapered pin out, have a look at the narrow end first, get a pair of cutters and cut that off, and then hopefully these cutters will be strong enough to cut the thicker piece of the tapered pin there. That's where we want it. What do you know, they worked. Alright, so there's our raw tapered pin. It's not ready yet. We have to process it further, round the ends off, make it nice and neat so that it fits correctly into the back cock. So we'll start off, we'll take the fat end of the pin, put it into a pin vise, turn it round and tighten it. Hope that's, yep, that's all right. And now using a pivot file, we align the pin in one of these grooves that I've cut into this piece of wood, and initially slowly turning the pin vise round, we're just squaring off the end of the tapered pin. Once that's nice and flat, we then start running the pivot file at 45 degrees over the top of the tapered pin, at the same time turning the pin vise. Have a look and see what we've got. That doesn't look too bad actually. I'll just run a tiny bit more to get it nice and smooth. And that looks alright. Okay, undo the pin vise, reverse the tapered pin, tighten it up again. I hope this one's small enough to hold it. Yep. Okay, so same thing again, using the pivot file, slowly turning the pin vise, we'll square off the end of the tapered pin. Okay, now holding the tapered pin at about 45 degrees, run the pivot file over the top, while turning the pin vise. Medium pressure, we don't want heavy pressure. Too light's going to take you too long to do, but medium pressure. Spinning the pin vise between your thumb and finger till it's nice and smooth. Alright, that looks pretty good. Alright, I'll clean this mess up and then we'll put the back cock on. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about antique and vintage clock repair, be sure to hit the subscribe button or become a channel member to watch my videos ad-free. Thank you to my supporters, Don Dressel, David Phillips, Graham FP, Robert Hornman, Mike Messerschmidt, Stephen Watts, Sidus, Rolf, Tony Paisley, Jeff Clements, Whitney Kovner, Walt Morgan, Dennis O'Connor, Robert Baldwin, Douglas Mueller, John, Martin Olivia, Douglas Rollinson, Bill Leeds, Getsup, Brooks Rowand, Jim Scarladorn, Rodney Van Meter and Elizabeth Smith.